Well, it is currently the 18th of January 2014, and we have our first named tropical storm of the year. And this is now Tropical Storm Lingling. Did not expect it to be upgraded by JMA, but it does look like they went ahead and put it right at the threshold of about 35 knots or 65 kilometers per hour. Any weaker, it would be a tropical depression with no name here. But according to them, with their latest track on the storm here, winds, well, 35 knots, 18 meters per second, almost stationary, but it is slowly drifting off here towards the west. And that's what we're going to be expecting through the next 24 hours. But don't expect much of intensification. Winds 35, gusting up to 50 knots or 65 kilometers per hour sustained, gradually weakening as it does move on shore. It's not just JMA here, though. Let's take a look at JTWC. They're expecting winds, well, right now 30. They don't even have a tropical storm, with a slow decrease in intensity after it does move on land. So I know that it has been named by Bagas as well. We have Agaton out here. We can actually take a look at their track really quick, and that continues to move it off here towards the west. They have winds at 55 kilometers per hour. So believe it or not, first time this really has happened, JMA is the stronger of the storms. But it's not the winds that's the big problem. It's going to be this heavy precipitation on the northern periphery. And if we can take a look at the satellite imagery, let's look at the infrared. The center of circulation is actually here on the southern periphery of it. It's down here towards the south. But you can see the bulk of the convection's off here towards the north. That is because we have this vertical wind shear coming in. It's knocking this over towards the side, and really it's just being, well, enhanced by that shear, and then we're seeing all of this convection off here. And the problem is this area has already been battered by a heavy rainfall, and as this does continue to stir up, it's going to be seeing yet more heavy rain in eastern portions of Visayas, southern Leyte, parts of Samar, Tacloban. Throughout the day here on Saturday, right here, you are going to be seeing some showers, even thunderstorm activity, gusty winds, likely up to gale force. You could be seeing these tropical storm strength winds. And then furthermore, it's the heavy rainfall, and that's going to be the issue. This is the water vapor, how much moisture is available in the atmosphere, and you can see off here towards the north, it is just the abundance. Now, like I said, the center of circulation is down here towards the south, and due to that shear, south of it, and not getting too much weather. And I know the center line is a little misleading for some of you, and I've been telling people don't pay too much attention to the center line, because yeah, it is off here towards the north, but the worst of the weather will be just north in the right front quadrant. And we could take a look here at Lingling with the ECMWF model, high resolution model, very good at forecasting after a storm has developed. And taking a look Saturday evening here, and actually zoomed a little bit in there for you, and well, it's a lot of these areas that were impacted by heightend that are getting the heaviest of the rainfall here on Saturday. Scrolling ahead towards Sunday, the precipitation starts to shift farther and farther towards the west into western portions of Visayas, northern Mindanao. You're still under the threat here. So despite it being named Lingling now, the forecast that I've been saying for about 3-4 days now has changed very little. We're still expecting over 200 millimeters of rainfall here. In some areas could see even more than that in eastern Visayas, northern Mindanao. As our depression tracks over Mindanao, it's going to be weakening out. Could re-intensify slightly in the Sulu Sea, but for the most part, it's going to be dragging this moisture towards the west, and the risk of flooding and landslides is definitely very high in those areas you just seen there in the red. And this is really going to be moving west. So if you're in Manila, don't worry about this coming off towards you, because we have our high pressure off here towards the north. That cold surge, it's been just battering this, and that's one reason why we have the vertical wind shear, but it's keeping things dry in much of Luzon. It's the southern extent of that that's interacting with our low pressure area, and why we actually have been seeing this precipitation persist for over 2 weeks now. That is really what is keeping it farther towards the south here, and that's going to move it off towards the west. And eventually, hopefully, by the end of the forecast period next week, we could have this just move completely off the screen, and the whole system is going to be dissipating finally. This is just kind of the perfect storm setup of high pressure interacting with low pressure, that trough setup, and you've just been seeing these persistent showers in the Philippines, but I think it's going to be coming to an end sometime in the near future. But tropical storm intensity, like I said, 65 kilometers per hour, so just on the low end of that, a little bit stronger than a tropical depression according to JMA's scale. If we were going to look at the Saffir-Simpson scale, it's not even on it. It would be a tropical storm, so not a category or anything like that. That's according to JMA. JTWC and Pagasa, like I said, are keeping it weaker than that. By the way, all this information I've showed you here, the satellite imagery, the tracks and everything, that can be found here at the Tropical Information Center at the webpage if you want to go through and scroll through all this stuff. Also, we're going to continue to post updates on the Facebook page, so please go check that out. And as always, yeah, thanks for watching, everybody, and stay safe out there.